Hello, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to the Broadway Rose Theater Company's new stage, where we are broadcasting live our Midday Cabaret, which of course we do every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. And before we go on, I want to be sure and thank our title corporate sponsor, Pearson Financial. They've been with us over 25 years, and everybody over at Pearson Financial, Conrad Pearson, Bonnie Conger, thank you for your many, many, many years of support. Now, today's show is really, it's a treat for me, and I know it's going to be for you too, because we have two very special guests to the Broadway Rose, and that is Michele Foor and Frank Spitznagel. So, hey, you guys, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having us. It's so good to see you.
You too, and you're coming live from New York, so thank you for just being here. It's really, we don't get to see each other very often, so it's nice to virtually see you. So tell me, you guys, you worked for us way back when, and you're coming from, and it's been, what, this is our 29th season. So you were there seasons 1 and 2. How are you guys doing? What have you been doing, especially recently in New York?
Well, recently in New York, things are clearly a little different than they normally are. You know, when you move here to the New York City, you realize you might have to sacrifice no noble sacrifices, but maybe I'll never have a backyard or a porch or a car or a dining room table, but at least the city was at our fingertips. And now we're in the tiny apartment with no yard and no porch. Wow. And, and
three animals
and just masking up to go outside to make our essential trips and coming back in and writing and watching Netflix and overeating. So that's
well, and now this week in particular, with all of the chaos happening around and all of our cities, and dealing with all of the protests and trying to make sense of it all. I understand that Manhattan is in a curfew till 8 o'clock, or beginning at 8 o'clock in the evening. How has that been navigating that?
Well, that part just started last night, and I believe it goes through Monday. The night before it was 11 o'clock, which seemed more manageable. And they let you know, though, you get a phone alert, which scares you. And then you know when to come in, and we can still sneak our dog outside for a last walk at 11 o'clock, just right outside and back in. Yeah. But yeah, it is definitely different.
It's different. It's just heartbreaking. So, so we're going to go ahead and get into some more singing and songs and things like that. But what I want to be able to do is let the audience know who's watching, just please feel free to submit some questions. If you have any questions for Michele and Frank, and they're here to answer anything you might have on your mind. So go ahead and submit those. So you first started with us, as I said, it was back in 1992. Our very first show was Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, way back when. Frank was our musical director for those 2 first seasons, and Michele, of course, was a performer with us. And thank goodness you were here. I mean, you two saw it from a completely different perspective as Sharon and I got the company going. What was it like for you to be at the ground floor of this brand new company?
Well, it was pretty amazing. I mean, everybody was navigating new shores, and I was so impressed with the work you did even back in those first 2 seasons. Now, I've seen your production value, and I've seen the shows you do now, and it's like you've gotten better. Exponentially.
Right. Yes. Well, that was after 1992. It was very kind of you to come back in 1993. So you had even seen the transition from our first year and what we learned into our second year. So yeah, that was not easy for us. And it was relying on good friends like you guys to come and help us navigate all of that. Yikes.
Well, we were happy to do it. And since that's where Frank and I met, fell in love, all of that, it worked out for everybody.
That's right. That's right. And you guys met in 1992 and were married in 1996, was it?
Yeah, we think so.
Okay.
Okay. And you actually are the first of 3 couples that have met here at the Broadway Rose that met and married. And we're happy to say are still all married. So that's the good news and all that. Sharon and I too met in summer stock, and we've often said to people, be careful of summer stock romances. Sometimes they work out.
And that was 1984. Am I right? Did we get the
right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I was there for that too.
Yes, you were. Wow. So Frank, you are a graduate of the Boston Conservatory, or BOCO, as the kids say. And then you've been living in New York for years and years and years. And as a result, you also, some of your many jobs, musical directing and accompanying, include Lincoln Center and accompanying people like Itzhak Perlman. Would you tell us a little bit more about your time at Lincoln Center?
Sure. I got to meet Itzhak Perlman, which was amazing. I got to meet Benny Golson, who wrote a piece, a jazz piece for Itzhak Perlman and an orchestra to play. But the orchestra was a Lincoln Center orchestra. They were a kids' orchestra. So he wasn't too happy about that. He wanted to have it play with an orchestra, but they didn't really swing it. And I played it in a rehearsal once for Itzhak Perlman, and he said, no, it's just going to be me and you.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
He got rid of the kids' orchestra?
He did. They played the show. It was called Claire Broom's Detective Agency, I think.
Okay.
So that was one of the pieces in it.
Wow.
That was great. And I had been Lincoln Center for years. I played with Broadway people like, Frank Mastrone and other people I don't even remember. It was so long ago. Joel Robertson, who was in Les Mis, among other things.
It was kind of a Meet the Artist series that they used to produce.
It was a Meet the Artist series. And I played with, oh God, I didn't even think of that. Lonnie Ackerman, who went on for Evita after Patti LuPone.
Yeah.
I played with her.
Great. And of course, you played for Serving Time.
I did.
Now, so Michele, among working everywhere under the sun and many summer stocks and various theater companies around the country as a musical theater actress, you, a couple of years ago, turned to the BMI workshop and are a lyricist. And then with the help of these composers, I think there were 5 altogether, including Frank, came up with a show called Serving Time that has been performed there in New York. Would you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, yes, Serving Time, I was able to workshop in the BMI workshop, like a lot of the numbers there. And the 4 other composers, the amazing composers, also are members of the BMI workshop. The show, it's a restaurant-themed musical revue that's pretty much based on my many years working in restaurants, of which you were there at the beginning, back to, I think, 1986, when you and Sharon got me the job at Charlie O's in Rockefeller Center.
Wow.
So that's where I had enough material to kind of put together this review. And it's just a lot of fun. We're very proud of it.
Yeah. Well, something that's very interesting to our viewers here at the Broadway Rose is one of the big readings that you had done included 2 Broadway alumni, Megan Carver, who of course is from here in Portland, and our very own Lakrita. And Lakrita and Megan both were in Hairspray with us. There they are as Motormouth Mabel and Penny Pinkleton. So our world just got a little smaller when we were able to see that. I remember getting the text from Megan Carver in New York, and she said, "You'll never guess, I'm here playing with Frank and Michele." And I was like, what? There's like worlds just collided then. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
I love that. And they were wonderful. And it was a great experience.
Yeah. So we would love to hear something from Serving Time, which is very exciting. So would you go ahead and set it up for us and take us away?
Funny enough, I planned a little something for you. Because because that's what we do here. Frank and I put together a little medley just to give you a taste of the different styles of music and the fun different characters and the people that have been part of my long, long restaurant life. So that's it. I think you'll get it as we go. Time to open up for business. Gotta be all clean and set, cause the customer don't like to wait. At least I haven't met one yet. If you're happy with our service, please leave 20%. Your gratitude is lovely, but it doesn't pay the rent at serving time. Oh, it's serving time. Serving time. If you're hungry, set your butts down here for serving time. Morning comes, I'm up at the crack of my ass. Who cares? Just another day. Working the brunch shift and praying that brunch shift will pass. Who cares? Just another day. First I strap on the apron that's now my identity, and then slap on a smile that's begging for tips. It's brunch and it brunchity. Brunchity sucks. Just me and the smell of those pancakes and failure. Toast, toast, toast. The English muffin is a well-bred bread, very well-bred like me, with delicate nooks and crannies for the comfort of the jam. If you toast it too much, all the crannies will crack. If you toast it too little, it's dough. I promise not to fight if you don't do it right. But I think you ought to know that I will never, ever, ever, ever tip you. Won't tip you, not tip you. I will never, ever, ever, ever tip you. No gratuity from me. We come to your establishment to get a bite to eat. We are hungry. We can't sit in a normal chair, we need a special seat. We are tiny. We are tiny. We're here to have some breakfast and we don't want any sass. I simply need a place where I can sit my diapered ass. We are the babies in high chairs. We are the babies in high chairs. We are the babies in the high chairs, and we are here to feed, to feed. I gotta order fast. Are you gonna be my waiter? Cause I only have an hour here to eat. Well, it's really only 40 minutes. Took me 10 to get here, and I need another 10 to get myself back to a meeting of some prospective clients who don't care if I have eaten. They're just here to see apartments that I'm showing, and I'm sure they'll want a duplex. I don't have a listing for a duplex or a brownstone. Shit! Lunch rush, everyone in a hurry. Lunch rush, everyone buzzing about. Lunch rush, everyone is stressing. Feed them right now and then get them out. And that's serving time, serving time. If you're hungry, set your butts down here for serving time. Oh, yeah.
That's great. I'm telling you, I'm kind of breaking out in hives listening to all that. It's been a while since I've waited tables. But certainly something, it's like riding a bike. You don't forget it. Wow. That's great. Hey, so Frank, come on back in the picture. I want to talk to you about the theater company that you work with. He's getting there. The theater company that you work with, the Magnet Theater. You've been a musical director there for 14 years, and is it all improv? It's mostly improv. Tell us a little bit about that company that you work at.
Yeah. I'm getting a little trouble right now. It's a straight improv theater. It's a musical improv theater. And let's see, they do sketch writing, they do storytelling, and stand up.
And when you do it with actors, you also do it with musicians as well?
Yeah, I started doing it, and all of a sudden, like a drummer came up to me one day and said, "Oh, I'd love to try to play that with, what you do with the singers." And I tried it. Then I had a bass player come in, and it's been up to 12 people. We've had cellos and violins and saxes, trumpets.
It's like the ultimate jam session live.
It is. And we all make up music on the spot.
Wow. So speaking of on the spot, Michele does improv as an actress as well. And before we get to that, I want to ask our viewers who are tuning in to come up with an occupation. We're going to try something new here. You're going to submit an occupation, and then we will pick one out of the hat. And then Michele is going to improv a song about that occupation while Frank improvs on the piano. So we'll see how that goes. That's the beauty of improv. We have no idea.
You're right, sir.
Yes, that's right.
Well, Michele, as an improv actress, then you work with ImprovNYC, and that's on Twitch. What is it? Twitch TV? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Twitch.
And then there's a program, and I love this title, especially for now, called Remotely Interesting. And that's a title that I'm sure many people are going to steal for their own virtual shows now that we're all going onto the internet. And then, so you do Remotely Interesting, and you also have a show and a character called Grandma's Basket. So what exactly is that? And set that up for us. What is Grandma's Basket?
Well, just a quick history with my improv. Since Frank has been doing it for so long, it took me a while to get into it. And when just like 2 years now, and I fell in love with it. And I took classes, and the only shows I had performed were in Paris, France, at their improv festival, because someone got sick, and it was my first time out of the country. And it was also my first time doing an improv show. And then we got back here, and the world blew up and fell apart. And this whole Twitch TV, ImprovNYC got started. And Justin Torres, who does Frank's tech for all the musical improv shows, asked if I wanted to do just a one-person show. And I was like, oh, sure, why not? What better time to do it? So yeah, I made up a character, Grandma. She's got a basket full of different things I pull from the apartment, just random things that I think might make a fun story, but like nothing in my head already. Just me like, oh, that might be something silly. And then I start my show, and I pull things out of my basket, and I sing things about them.
Wow. Well, let's see what occupation somebody may have sent in, and then we're going to go ahead and try this. So, okay. So Christine Powell Porter, she sent in the occupation of forest ranger. That she must be an Oregonian.
My little flyer. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Deborah Van Slat, but you can call me Grandma. Everybody does. Why not? Grandma was forced, I tell you, into retirement a few months ago. And then she's not a fan of it. Grandma is a very vibrant woman. She needs to be out there doing something. And someone gave me the suggestion for an occupation of forest ranger. I love that. I love nature. I love trees. I'm a little concerned for the safety of the forest. I'm a little concerned for the safety of the forest. Grandma likes to make fires, so I'm a little concerned for the safety of the forest. I go for my nature walks. I look at the animals. I yell at people who are up to no good out there. But towards the end of my day, I get a little bored. So I pull out a book of matches. Grandma loves the forest, but Grandma's concerned for the safety of the forest, because Grandma, sometimes out of boredom, likes to set fires. So Grandma is concerned for the forest. Maybe if the bears would do their jobs and entertain me. Maybe if the squirrels would put on a show, I wouldn't get so bored. Maybe if the water would bubble and gurgle down its tracks, I could find something of visual interest to enjoy. But Grandma is concerned. Grandma likes to set things on fire. That's what grandmas sometimes do. But Grandma is concerned. Oh, Grandma is concerned. Grandma is concerned for the safety of the forest. I'm so sorry.
Wow, that is one screwed up forest ranger. Hey, I don't know if everybody heard that buzzing. I thought, well, maybe that was all part of it. You know, keep that improv going.
New York City is gone now.
Wow. That is, I mean, that to me, all out of your head between the two of you. That's quite a skill that I do not have. So congratulations on that. So another group or another place that you perform is a nightclub singer with Vodka Stinger, who is a drag queen there in New York. And she has her backup, which is you and that other gentleman. And you're called the Martha Rays. Tell us a little bit, and Frank, you're the musical director of that show. So tell us a little bit more about the show with Vodka Stinger. So you're a little muted. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me. Okay. So I need you to sign and do an interpretive dance as to what Vodka Stinger is at this point. So that's okay. Take your time. This is live theater, folks. That's what makes it. I guess it's live television.
Can you hear anything now?
There you go. I hear you now. I hear you now.
And
So-
we're back.
And we're back. So sorry. Tell us a little bit more about Vodka Stinger.
Well, Vodka Stinger is somebody Frank started working with. Somebody referred vodka to Frank a few years ago, and they said something like, I think he needs you to be able to read music, which was funny because Vodka comes up with these amazing ideas for arrangements, and there's nobody better for this job than Frank. They work together so well. They just come up with the most beautiful songs and the funniest stuff. I've enjoyed their work for years, and I got the opportunity this year, right after my thyroidectomy, got the opportunity to perform as a Martha Ray. And it's just like being some sort of crazy rock star. It's just a blast. It's a blast. The audience loves it. It's so smart. Everything is sung live. No lip syncing. And it's great.
Is it in a theater or is it a cafe or a bar or where's the venue?
They've been done many different places, like Don't Tell Mamas, I think a couple of times. 54 Below, and the most recent one was what is it called?
Green Room 42.
Over in the hotel on the west side.
A new place on 42nd Street that opened. Is that it?
Yeah, I guess it's fairly. Yeah, it's fairly new as a club.
Oh, good. Good. Well, hey, let's take some questions. See what our inquiring minds want to know.
All right.
So we have Tyrene Bata says, what advice would you give your younger selves as you were embarking on your careers, other than stay in school?
They said give to ourselves, not to others. Other people should stay in school. I feel like I feel like the choices you make are the choices that bring you where you are now. And I'm happy where I am now. So I don't know. I mean, look at the friends I've made. Look at these, like, I met you. I met Frank. These are all choices I made 10,000 years ago. So I'm saying, other than don't wear high heels, they ruin your feet. Is that helpful? Because otherwise, I don't think. Yeah, Frank, anything from you? What would you?
I would say the same thing.
Frank,
yes, yeah.
Don't wear high heels. They're going to ruin your feet.
Yeah.
So, how about another question? Okay, Michael Miramontes. Frank, were you always aspiring to be a musical director, or is there something special that drew you to that side of musical theater?
Yeah, I studied classical music at the conservatory, but they had a up and coming theater program which has gotten huge at what is it, BOCO? BOCO. So yeah, I just got involved in that, and I started playing show tunes and stuff like that, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And from there, I just went on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, let's go ahead and hear another song. Would you set up this next song?
I will. As we worked on, oh my goodness, as we worked on Serving Time, you realize maybe you need a little bit more material. So I started writing some monologues and some scenes for it. And then I thought, there's a lot of fun character-y songs in this. And there's one lovely, lovely ballad that I wrote with Timothy Wong. But I thought I just wanted one more, like, kind of a heartfelt song. So Frank and I just wrote this. I guess we finished it a few days ago. Yeah, I'm going to use a cheat sheet because although I wrote all the words, sometimes I can't remember things. I moved from Piscataway and crossed a long bridge to become a big Broadway star with $600 and all of my junk in my car. Now I'm not impractical, I had it all planned. My mother had raised me that way. I get a fallback job to make sure the bills would get paid. Fallback job, just in case my star got delayed. First found a weird roommate who kept to herself, then started my job search day one. With so many options, I knew that my life had begun. I'd find something part-time with time to audition. My mother's voice strong in my head. Go get a fallback job to make sure the bills would get paid. Fallback job just in case my star gets delayed. I found a cute diner, a sign in the window that read they were hiring. An interview followed. I told them that I was an actress aspiring. The manager said they would work with my schedule as long as I worked with theirs too. I said, sure, this is great, because what else was a smart mother's girl gonna do? The first job I booked was Broadway adjacent in a role I was born to play. I'd have to scrub toilets, and also they offered no pay. I had to say no, but I wasn't worried. There'd be more auditions to come, and I had my fallback job to make sure the bills would get paid. Sweet little fallback job. It's okay if your star gets delayed and delayed and delayed. Let's cut to the chase. I have side work to do. The years started flying with fewer auditions. I guess you can see where this went. Still $600, and half of my life has been spent trusting my mother instead of my dreams. Buddy, it's never too late to start. Drop what you're doing and run for the door. Trust your heart. Screw this old fallback job for bills that will never get paid. Don't take a fallback job, 'cause that's how your star gets delayed.
Wow. Yay. That was just great. I tell you, composers, lyricists, you guys are rock stars. I mean, I'm so in awe and envy of the talent that you have. That's a beautiful song. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I tell you, the last time that I saw you was when we went on our annual New York trip to New York City. And there we are. We're outside War Paint, and you were able to join us and meet some of our group that time. And so that was really so much fun to be able to catch up.
I had the best time that day, and I love those surprises. Like, I know when you'll be in town sometimes, but like, that was great. Just like pop down and get to see you and hang out for a little bit. No, I love that.
Yeah, yeah. And another interesting fact that just makes the world a little bit smaller, in your BMI workshop that you participated in was, of course, what do you call them? Classmates, I guess. Collaborators, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kevin Hammonds and Kristen Bear.
Yes.
Who were both the lyricist, composer, and book writer to Up and Away, which is the show that we started our 29th season. In fact, unfortunately for us, it was the last show that we have done, and we haven't been able to produce since. So I'm glad we certainly got that, and it was a terrific run. And what I find so fascinating in talking to them was that you were the original Mother Jessup in the workshop. And as we all know, in workshops, there's an inspiration that you give for the character, and all the other characters, Roxy and all the other ones that came out of that show. And so I think that's really exciting. And again, they're so talented, and you guys are so talented. I love surrounding myself. I don't read music, and I'm getting too old to kick my leg too high. So it's kind of nice to be surrounded by so much talent.
Dan Murphy, once in love with Amy, always in love with Amy.
Oh my God. That got me all the way here to Tiger.
No, you guys, you should be so proud of all the work you're doing out there. Like I said, you're just knowing that you've been going strong for so long and having been there at the beginning. And I just remember what the hell are we doing? How are we going to do this? And every year it just got better and better. And I'm so impressed, and you should be so proud.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all your help. And I'm sure everybody that's enjoyed us now would like to give you guys a shout out, because Sharon and I didn't do it alone. And it was people like you that were able to come here for very little, next to nothing, and help us get it together. So thank you. You know what, you guys, be safe, be well. Thank you for joining us for Midday Cabaret. And I look forward to seeing you, whether it be virtual or ideally in person. Who knows, maybe out here. That would be great.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Be well.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, folks, that is our show this afternoon. That's live television or internet, I guess. And that's what makes it exciting and keeps us on our toes. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday, the 3rd. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Next Wednesday at 1 Pacific time, we have another special guest. I guess everybody that comes on here is special to us, so we really appreciate it. It's going to be Ms. Amy Jo Halliday. And of course, Amy Jo is one of our leading ladies over these last several years. You'll remember her as Anna and the King and I, and she was in Cats, and The Addams Family was actually her last show before she and her family moved down to Phoenix. So she'll be coming to us live from Phoenix, Arizona next Wednesday. So we look forward to seeing you all back here for Midday Cabaret. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you in the lobby as soon as we can.